Good morning everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're starting here at the Shan parking lot. Why, you might ask, and why not, may I say in reply? Because me and my wife are currently in the very end of the process of moving our entire apartment from Taipei to Ilan. So I basically don't have a YouTube studio at the moment, but what I do have is a brand new car, and with a car, entire Taiwan can be my YouTube studio, just like Shan is today. But today's video is not about this mountain. Instead, I want to talk about the most shocking and somewhat illegal things that I have witnessed here in Taiwan during my first month of owning and driving a car. And by illegal, I mostly refer to being illegal in Sweden, where I'm from, which is super confusing because not only are these things legal here in Taiwan, they are also very, very common. But for someone who has both a Swedish and a Taiwanese driving license, it is somewhat confusing, although I've had my Swedish driving license for 15 years at this point. But before we are even allowed on the roads here in Taiwan, we of course need to pass that driving test, and this will be a separate video. So if you're a foreigner currently watching this video wanting to know a little bit more about how to actually get the driving license here in Taiwan in the first place, do remember to subscribe to this channel. Of course, if you're a Taiwanese with or without driving license, you're also very much welcome to subscribe to this channel, of course. But specifically for foreigners, please do let me know any questions you might have down in the comments, and I will make sure to include that in my next upcoming video. So, the first thing on my list for this video is something that you will realize even before you start driving here in Taiwan, and that is what we in Sweden call tomgångskörning, or idling in English, I believe, which is when the car is on, it's running, but you're actually not driving it anywhere. And in Sweden, it is strictly illegal to be idling for more than 1 minute. And this is something that I would feel so uncomfortable with to even do for like 30 seconds. Other than, for example, it's been super snowy, super cold, and you want the car running just to heat it up before you actually get into the car and drive away. Whereas here in Taiwan, it is technically illegal to be idling more than 3 minutes. I bet you Taiwanese people watching this video didn't even know that. But it is legal if the temperature is above 30 degrees Celsius, because then you can actually keep the AC running and not faint out of a heat stroke when you're still in the car. I just thought that this would be an extra benefit of having an electric car here in Taiwan, so I could legally idling my car or keep the AC running for as long as I want. But it turns out that everyone here in Taiwan, regardless if you have an electric car or not, keeps idling their car, running their AC for as long as they want. Originally, the plan was to get into the car, start driving, and then continue with the rest of this video from inside the car. But I discovered this absolutely amazing park here in Taiwan, which is very fitting because the next point on the list is parking here in Taiwan. Say what you want about parking in Taiwan, and I can say a lot of things about parking in Taiwan, mainly just how incredibly expensive it is to park in most places, it seems like. But one thing that I absolutely love about parking here in Taiwan is the parking tickets, which in Sweden would mean that you have done something illegal, but here in Taiwan, that's just how you get the actual, not ticket, but the bill for actually parking. And the first time I saw this, I was so shocked over how terrible Taiwanese people must be at parking, because every single car on the street got this parking ticket. And as I'm walking around here in the park, it also seems to be a campground for like, and maybe not car camping, but a very car accessible camping ground. Maybe my new home after we actually do move to Ilan, and if I ever need a place to stay in Taipei, I can sleep here. Although technically it's actually faster to go from Ilan and Taipei than to Taipei and Beito, at least during the morning traffic that I encountered this morning. But yeah, you get my point. Okay, I need your help. What would you do in this situation? So we're here at the gate, and it seems to be okay to go in. It just says don't go in if there's a typhoon. And then there's like a little button here that looks like a doorbell. And I just want to know how much it would cost to stay here some other time. So should I just ring the doorbell and ask? See what happens? Nothing happened, I think. No idea actually what this place is or what it's called, but it looks like a campground. When I come back to the car, I will actually leave you the name and everything here so you can type it into your GPS and then figure out where I am right now. Because the next thing on my list, the next two things actually, has to do with the actual GPS. Okay, I now realize that there was a sign behind me this whole time. Yes, it actually is a camping ground. I just don't know how to access it. Turns out it's not entirely closed. They do have a security guard who did not want to let me in. Hey? 我怎么进去呢？可以帮我开门吗？ In Sweden, it is 100% illegal to have any kind of like police scanner tracker, and I feel like that makes sense. I don't have a problem with people using these apps or these softwares because it is legal. But what I am having a little bit trouble understanding is why do you have these like checkpoints if you at the same time telling people via this like GPS system that you're gonna have a checkpoint right here, and then afterwards you can like speed for like another like 3 kilometers, and then there will be like another camera. One thing on the other hand that Taiwan has, which I think is great, that I have heard the rumor being that they have it in every single tunnel. I don't know if this is true, but they do have these area sensor speed limit tracker checkers. I don't know what you call them, but basically it measures like your average speed from the beginning of the tunnel to the end of the tunnel. And I don't know if they have this in every single tunnel, but what I think is super annoying, if you are driving here in Taiwan, this drives me crazy every single time. So between Taipei and Yilan, which we're driving a lot because it's like a moving season for us right now, the speed limit is like 90. It's 90 before the tunnel, it's 90 in the tunnel, and it's 90 after the tunnel. Everyone is driving like 95, and then there's a tunnel. Everyone slows down to like 85 in the tunnel, and then everyone speeds up to like 95 again after the tunnel. But it's like 90 the whole way. And I just don't understand the logic. Why don't you just keep it like a flat 90? Everything will go like super smooth. You don't have these like braking ins or like accelerating where like most of the traffic accidents will happen. Yeah, that's just like one of the things that I feel like could be improved, I guess. Again, this is not even on my top 100 list when it comes to things to improve when it comes to Taipei traffic. But one thing that is on this list when it comes to improving Taipei traffic that is also related to GPS, that is these morning markets. Now, hear me out here. So in Taiwan and in Sweden as well, there will be some certain type of roads that, for example, would not be open during certain times of the day. In Taiwan, they have a lot more than we have in Sweden. But as an example, if you are making a left turn, you can not make a left turn during like morning rush hour traffic between like 7 and 9 a.m., for example. Whereas all other times of the day, you could do a left turn. That is, I think, something that is quite common here in Taiwan. But my point here is that Google Maps and Apple Maps and like all the GPS maps solutions, they know about these rule changes because it's just like built into like the traffic laws. So your GPS will not tell you to go that route between 7 and 9, but 9:01 it will tell you that you can make a left turn, no problem. Why don't we have this for like morning markets here in Taiwan? I think we can all agree that during the hours of a morning market, it is not to be considered a normal road. I understand that some people might still use it as a normal road, and I think they should. I think that is totally fine, especially if like they're working at the morning market. But don't have my GPS tell me to like just go through a morning market if you know it's a morning market. And I feel this will be very, very easy to implement because these morning markets must be registered somewhere. If not, that's another problem for another day. They must be registered with an address and with the official hours. Just make that like official like traffic enforcement regulation rules. So if any one of you is working at the DMV or traffic bureau or whoever is in charge of this, please see if we can make this happen because it is super frustrating to be basically like tricked by a GPS to drive through. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna continue walking around here in this beautiful park and see what else this park has to offer. Turns out this park actually has everything you need. This was not planned at all. I swear I had no idea about this park when I found this parking lot for the car. But this park even has its own weather station, which is perfect because the next thing on my list actually has to do with the weather here in Taiwan, and mainly the extreme heat, and of course also ways to combat that extreme heat. And I am of course talking about window tinting, which is 100% illegal in Sweden. So I have no experience when it comes to window tinting, and here in Taiwan this year 2026 I heard there are some new laws regarding window tinting as well. So in order to properly understand this, I think we need to head back to my good friend Lukas at M.J Wraps and the very first day of me owning a car here in Taiwan. 所以，因为了解这个隔热纸的法律，我们再来 M.J Wraps 跟吴老师聊天一下。好久不见！
哎，你好，你好。
你可以帮我说明一下吗？我的车子是不合法的吗？
那因为你在施作的现在这个时间，
我们拍这个影片的时候还是2025
年的12月，所以目前的法规还是都是合法的情况，贴的纸是我们贴的是龙膜的隔热纸。那你所安装的部分呢？前面所采用的是它的 WD60，侧面全部我们全车都是用 WD60的这个规格。但是从2026年的1月开始，所有的车辆在安装隔热纸的时候，它就必须要符合法规的一个规定，前面这个前挡一定要是70的透光率，这两个正副驾驶座一定要是40以上的透光率
，OK，
这样才会是合法的。
那后面呢？
后面就没有关系
，OK，
就没有限制。
然后那个最后面
也没有关系，主要就是这3个，因为这有安全的问题，这边要看 mirror， 要看后照镜，所以会有安全的问题。
在瑞典，我完全没有听过这个隔热纸的事情，但是感觉是在台湾超级多人会用这个，为什么？是真的为了那个怕热吗？或是有其他原因？
好，在台湾几乎80%以上的车辆都会安装隔热纸。那当然有几个很主要的原因。第一个当然是隔热的效果，因为台湾的天气真的比较炎热一点。另外一个很重要的当然是除了隔热之外，其实还有一个东西大家很常忘记，叫做紫外线。这个东西就是 UV 啊 ，Yes， 它其实会伤害我们的皮肤，还有更重要的是，我们车子里面的内装里面的这些材质都有可能会因为一直晒太阳，它比较容易坏掉。
哦，真的吗？
对，所以我们贴了隔热纸之后，其实除了隔热之外，另外一个很大的作用其实也是保护我们的内装，可以能够再用得久一点。那当然，另外一个就会所谓的是美观的问题，因为大家可能还会有一些隐私的考量，或是我希望车子看起来有不同的颜色，所以美观的部分、隐私的部分也会是大家选择的一个考虑之一。
只有一种吗？
隔热纸基本上主要分成几大类，第一个就是我们平常常见的陶瓷、奈米陶瓷的，另外一个材质是有加上金属的成分。那当然有金属的成分，它的隔热的效果就会更好，可是它会阻挡，会 block 一些讯号，比如说手机的讯号，或是我们车里面 Tesla 里面有车子里面 Tesla 里面有电脑，所以它有可能会挡住一些讯号在，所以这就要看你的选择。我想要隔热的效果很好，还是我希望我的讯号都没有问题？那这个就会是选择的考量之一。
OK，
这样子。
然后今天我们选择 LLumar WD60。
LLumar 这个牌子，龙膜这个牌子呢，在美国还有在全世界154个国家其实都有贩售。它其实是一个很悠久的公司，那它做隔热纸也做非常久了，每一项的品质，包含它的能见度，算是目前各品牌里面数1数2 top 的，所以我们才会推荐你使用龙膜的隔热纸，也针对了台湾的法规，出了符合交通部的法规的 WD70，还有 WD40，所以如果大家有需要的话， 这3片这些都是有符合法规的产品可以做选择了。
谢谢你的说明。
不会，
我用英文嘛，然后所以我看那个美国是全世界的用英文是打，然后我只有打那个隔热纸，然后只有看到那个 LLumar， 然后他们说是哦哇，这个就是世界上最好的，就是哦，在台湾可以做吗？在台湾可以做吗？刚好找到 M.J Wraps 这里，然后吴老师，
对我们也是推荐龙膜的隔热纸，真的很不错。
谢谢，
谢谢。
And now we're back here at the parking lot where we do have my freshly tinted Tesla Model Y. Okay, seems like this parking lot is getting more and more popular and more crowded. And speaking about getting very, very crowded sometimes, I also want to talk about the highways here in Taiwan, or the highways and freeways and expressways, which before you have gotten a driving license is super confusing to even like know the differences. And again, if you're a foreigner and have no idea what I'm talking about, I will make a video regarding getting the driving license later as well. So again, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because you will very, very soon learn a lot regarding driving and getting that license here in Taiwan. But when it comes to these 高速公路, 快速公路 and expressways that maybe have a different name, I don't know. One thing that is very confusing for me, and again illegal in Sweden, is that not only can you pass people legally on the right side on the lane, like using the right lane to pass someone, sometimes you can also drive on like the emergency lane here in Taiwan. And I don't know when or how or why this is legal. This seems ridiculously dangerous to me. But here in Taiwan, this is 100% legal 50% of the time, I think. This is not something that I will ever do because I don't even know where I'm driving most of the time. But if you know where you're driving and you know when you're driving, they actually have a website for this. So you can look up when and where it is legal to drive on the emergency lane if you are taking the next exit, I think. Again, I just know that I'm never going to do that myself, so I haven't really paid too much attention regarding this law. But yeah, this is crazy to me. In Sweden, not only is it 100% illegal to even like overtake someone on the right side, even if it's like 2-lane highway. If it is a 3-lane highway, it is illegal to drive in the middle or on the left side if the right side is free. So if the right side is free, you have to drive on the right side, and the left side, or like the middle or the left, is only allowed if you're overtaking a slower car. Here in Taiwan, I don't think there is any laws or rules when it comes to this, at least not that Taiwanese drivers are aware of. So this is definitely something that it is very, very difficult to get used to, even after having like the driver's license, and also not something that the driver's license will prepare you for. You just know like what is illegal, but you don't get taught all the different legal ways of driving that is different compared to like all the other countries, or at least Sweden, which is like the only driving experience that I have. So yeah, there are a lot of things like this that I feel that I have not been aware of until now, and hopefully you learned a few things as well. And there's just so many more challenges or differences when it comes to driving a car here in Taiwan that you just don't think about, especially being a foreigner here in Taiwan. And again, if you want to learn even more about driving car in Taiwan as a foreigner, and also comparing Taiwan with, for example, Sweden or some other countries, please do remember to subscribe to this channel so you get to learn a lot more about driving and a lot more about just life in Taiwan from a foreigner's perspective in general. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lucas. Start with L as in like, ends with S as you subscribe. Please to both, and see you all in the next one.